For years, my family preached that kin supports kin, a mantra they leaned into heavily when I was footing the bill for my sister's mortgage. But when my own business was teetering on the edge of collapse and I needed their support, they vanished. Then when my company started thriving, they came crawling back, chanting the same old line, "Kin supports kin." I shut them down fast. My name's Russell and I'm 36. Growing up, my parents ingrained in me the belief that family always comes first. It was a rule I followed blindly for most of my life, never questioning its fairness. It wasn't until later that I realized this rule only seemed to apply when I was the one giving. I own a small digital marketing firm in Portland. It's not a flashy operation, but it keeps the lights on. I launched it 5 years ago in a repurposed warehouse downtown with just 2 employees, Jessica and David. We help local companies build their online presence. It's not glamorous work, but it's consistent, and I'm good at what I do. My sister Caroline is 3 years younger and has always been the family's golden child. While I'm reserved and calculated, she's bold and magnetic. I chose a path of steady growth, but she chased grand ambitions, taking risks that often paid off big. Our parents celebrated her boldness, calling her a visionary, while they labeled me dependable and pragmatic, terms that sound like praise but feel like runner-up medals. Growing up, the favoritism was unmistakable. Caroline got ballet classes, I got used soccer gear. She drove a shiny new car at 16, I got Dad's beat-up truck. Her graduation was a lavish affair with catered food and dozens of guests. Mine was a low-key backyard cookout with burgers and a grocery store cake. The message was clear. Caroline was the star and I was the steady one. Caroline works in real estate, or did when the market was hot. Her charm could sell anything, and during the boom years, she thrived. She bought a stunning 4-bedroom home with marble counters, leased a sleek BMW, and lived a life that made our parents glow with pride at family gatherings. Every Sunday dinner was her stage. She'd captivate everyone with tales of high-stakes deals and high-profile clients, while our parents soaked up every word. When I tried to share updates about my business, the conversation would inevitably pivot back to her within minutes. "That's great, Russell," Mom would say when I mentioned a new client. "Caroline, tell us more about that lakefront property." I was the dependable one, the safety net, the foundation they all leaned on. For years, I accepted that role without question, not realizing that foundations get stepped on and taken for granted. The trouble began 2.5 years ago when the real estate market tanked. Caroline's earnings plummeted, and her bold risks started looking reckless. Her mortgage became a burden, the BMW payments a stressor, and for the first time, she faced real financial strain. I noticed the shift at Sunday dinners. Caroline, usually the life of the table, grew quiet, picking at her food and glued to her phone, her confidence replaced by nervous tension. The crisis hit one October night when Caroline showed up at my apartment unannounced. She stood at my door in sweats and a baggy hoodie, a stark contrast to her usual polished look. "Can I come in?" she asked, her voice small. She sank onto my thrift store couch, glancing around my modest space like it was foreign to her. "Russell, I'm in deep trouble," she said. "Financial trouble. I haven't closed a deal in months. I'm behind on everything: mortgage, car, credit cards." She pulled up a spreadsheet on her phone, and the numbers were grim. Nearly $20,000 in debt, with the bank sending foreclosure warnings. "I need $15,000 to catch up on the mortgage," she said, tears brimming, "or I'll lose the house." We talked for hours. I helped her sort through her debts, and the next morning I crunched my own numbers. My business was stable, my savings solid. I could help, but it would mean pausing my plans to grow the agency. That's when the family meetings began. The next Sunday dinner felt like a corporate boardroom. Mom cooked Caroline's favorite roast. Dad poured a rare bottle of wine. The air was thick with tension. "I need $15,000 to avoid losing my home," Caroline finally said, her voice cracking. After discussing her drained savings and lack of options, silence fell. Our parents exchanged looks. They were well off but not rich. $15,000 was a stretch for them. Then all eyes turned to me. "Russell," Mom said softly, in that tone she used when she wanted something, "your business is doing well, isn't it?" I shifted in my seat. "It's doing fine, growing slowly." I didn't mention that slow growth meant breaking even most months with every extra dollar reinvested. "Kin supports kin," Dad said, wielding the family motto like a moral cudgel. "Caroline would do the same for you." Would she? I wondered. When I was launching my business, working grueling hours and eating cheap noodles, where was her help? When my laptop died and I was designing on a glitchy old machine, where was her offer? But seeing Caroline's tearful face, those thoughts felt small. She was still my sister. How much do you need monthly? I asked. Her face lit up with hope. The mortgage is $3,200. If you could cover half just for a bit, I can handle the rest. $1,600 a month. I ran the numbers in my head. $1,200 for rent, $2,000 for business costs, $800 for personal expenses if I was frugal. It was tight but doable. And this is temporary? I asked. 6 months tops, she said quickly. The market always bounces back. I just need to weather this. The weight of their expectations settled on me, familiar and heavy. Okay, I said, I'll help. Relief washed over the room. Caroline sobbed and hugged me, and my parents beamed. For a moment, I felt like the hero. This means the world, Caroline whispered. I'll never forget this. That was the start of a 2.5-year ordeal that nearly tanked my business. The first few months were manageable. I set up automatic payments, and Caroline seemed to be trying, updating me on deals that sounded promising but never closed. I've got 3 listings going live, she'd say. One's a sure thing. But months dragged on and the deals fell apart. Financing failed, inspections tanked, buyers backed out. The temporary $1,600 crept up to $1,800 for roof repairs, then $2,000 for taxes. It's a one-time thing, she'd promise. It'll save money long-term. By month 8, I was feeling the pinch. Jessica deserved a raise but had to wait. David needed new software costing $300 a month, but I couldn't afford it. I had to pass on a $15,000 brewery rebranding project because I couldn't hire the freelancers needed. A tech startup offered a steady retainer, but I declined, unable to expand my team. Every month, as I sent Caroline money, I watched my business's potential slip away. I was starting to resent it, but whenever I thought about confronting her, she'd call with another almost deal. When my office lease renewal came up after a year, the landlord raised the rent by $400. Normally, I could have negotiated or absorbed it, but I had to plead for a smaller hike and lock into a longer lease. Business must be rough, the landlord said. He was right. My agency should have been growing, but Caroline's crisis had become mine, her temporary problem my ongoing burden. Every excuse she gave, market slumps, interest rate hikes, election jitters, pushed the recovery further out. Our parents kept praising us both, Caroline for fighting through tough times, me for being a great brother. The praise rang hollow, especially since they never asked when she'd repay me. They'd check on my business, but only to ensure I could keep supporting her. You're doing the right thing, Mom would say privately. Caroline needs this. She'll turn it around soon. Kin supports kin, Dad would add, as if it justified everything. The breaking point came 18 months in, as spring bloomed in Portland. I was staring at the biggest opportunity of my career. A tech company, Novatech Solutions, wanted a full digital marketing overhaul for a new product launch. It was a 6-figure deal that could transform my agency. But to take it, I needed to scale fast, new equipment, software, internet upgrades, and 3 new hires. The math was clear. I could keep helping Caroline or seize this chance, but not both. Novatech's project manager, Lisa, was blunt. We need your commitment by Friday, she said. Other agencies want this, but we like your work. Can you handle the scope? That night, I spread my financials across my kitchen table. Bank statements, expenses, Caroline's payment history. The numbers didn't lie. Her payments were draining me, leaving no room to grow. I couldn't even cover the equipment upgrades, let alone payroll. But passing on Novatech meant missing a chance to elevate my agency, secure my team's future, and build something lasting. I called a family meeting. We gathered at my parents' house, but the vibe was tense. I looked worn out. Caroline seemed relaxed, wearing a new dress and freshly styled hair. She just signed a client and was optimistic. I need to talk about the arrangement with Caroline, I said, cutting to the chase. Her smile faded. What about it? It's been 18 months and I've got a business opportunity that could change everything. I need to redirect the money I've been sending you to make it happen. Silence. My parents shifted uncomfortably. Caroline paled. The warm family dinner vibe evaporated. What opportunity? Dad asked, his accountant mind zeroing in on details. I laid out the Novatech deal, scope, revenue, requirements, showing them the contract on my phone. It was the chance I'd been building toward for 5 years. How long would you stop the payments? Mom asked cautiously. Permanently, I said. This was supposed to be temporary, 6 months. It's been 3 times that. Caroline's voice rose. You can't just cut me off, Russell. I still need help. The market's turning, but I'm not out of the woods. I've got deals coming. You've had deals coming for 18 months, I said, keeping my cool. I can't keep both of us afloat. This contract could secure my business for years. It's not just about me, it's jobs, growth, stability. Dad frowned. But Caroline could lose her house. And I could lose my business, I shot back. I've already passed on contracts because I can't afford to scale. My team hasn't had raises in 2 years. I'm stalling my growth to prop up Caroline's lifestyle. Lifestyle? Caroline snapped. You think I'm living large. I'm barely surviving. You're keeping a $3,200 mortgage and a BMW, I said. When my business was struggling, I lived in a studio and drove a beat-up Honda. I sacrificed to build something sustainable. That's different, Mom said. You were young, single. Caroline has obligations. What about my obligations? I countered. To my employees, my clients. My future, Caroline played her ace. Kin supports kin, Russell. You've always said that. You can't abandon me now. That phrase, weaponized again, I saw the same expectation in their eyes. I was supposed to sacrifice for Caroline, be the dependable one. What if I could find investors for your expansion? She offered. I know real estate developers with cash. I shook my head. I can't bank on maybes. This deal has a deadline. I either take it or lose it. The meeting ended unresolved, but their pressure was clear. Choose family loyalty over my future. Thursday night, I lay awake, staring at my ceiling, the Novatech contract glowing on my laptop. 6 figures, a chance to build the agency I'd dreamed of, give my team security, and stop scraping by. I thought of Caroline's risky house purchase, my parents' disappointment, the mantra that had shaped my life. But a new question hit me. Who was supporting me? When Caroline needed help, the family rallied. When I needed understanding, where was their effort? When I shared my struggles, did anyone offer help or just check if I could keep funding Caroline? I realized kin supports kin meant Russell supports kin. I was the help, not the family. Friday morning, I called Lisa at Novatech. I'm in. That afternoon, I told Caroline the payments would stop after the next one, offering to help her budget or explore options. You're abandoning me, she said coldly. After all our family's done for you? What's our family done for me? I asked. I've given you 18 months of support. When did you support me? She hung up. The fallout was swift. Mom called me selfish, unable to believe I'd choose money over family. Dad said I was making a mistake, forgetting what family meant. Caroline sent furious texts, accusing me of caring more about cash than loved ones. But Aunt Linda, Mom's sister, surprised me. Good for you, she said when she called. It's time someone taught Caroline consequences. She revealed Caroline's history of borrowing without repaying, taking credit for others' work and dodging promises. Your parents spoiled her, Linda said. They've used your kindness too long. When did they last help you? That call brought clarity. For the first time, I'd chosen myself and it felt freeing. The silence from my family followed. No more dinners, calls, or group chats. They'd ghosted me when I stopped being useful, proving the irony of their mantra. The Novatech contract was a grind. Scaling up while managing cash flow was brutal, but I worked 18-hour days, fueled by coffee and resolve. I hired Sarah, a top-tier social media expert, then Miguel, a stellar web developer, and Tom, a project manager who kept everything on track. The first months were chaos, learning to lead a bigger team, navigating growth pains, all while processing my family's betrayal. Some nights I doubted my choice. Caroline lost her house to foreclosure, moving in with our parents, and guilt gnawed at me. But their refusal to see my side fueled my resolve. The work paid off. Novatech loved our campaigns, their product launch soared, and they credited us for their success. They extended our contract and referred us to others. Word spread in Portland's business scene. Within 6 months, we moved to a sleek downtown office. Within a year, my team grew to 8. We invested in premium tools, won awards, and became a go-to agency. By year 2, we were among the fastest-growing firms in the Pacific Northwest. I spoke at conferences, got featured in Portland Business Journal, and fielded acquisition offers. Jessica became creative director, David our lead developer, and my new hires thrived. I'd built something I was proud of, all because I'd chosen my future. Then the calls started again. Mom reached out first, her voice warm like when I was a kid. We saw your article in the Business Journal, she said. We're so proud. I waited. Your new office looks amazing. We'd love to have you for dinner like old times. Suspicion replaced the longing I'd once felt. Caroline left a voicemail, apologizing and claiming pride in my success. Dad texted about moving past old conflicts. Even Aunt Ruth, barely in touch for years, said the family missed me. Their motives were transparent curiosity, one. I went to Sunday dinner to see their angle. Walking into my parents' house was like stepping into a time capsule. Same furniture, same smells, same photos. Though new ones of Caroline had appeared, none of me. Caroline looked worn, her spark dimmed. She hugged me stiffly, mumbling apologies. Dinner was a charade of small talk, their questions about my business shallow, like they'd Googled just enough to sound interested. No one mentioned the 2-year silence. Mom served roast, Dad poured wine, mirroring the night Caroline first asked for help. After dessert, Caroline's favorite chocolate cake, Dad spoke. "We're sorry about 2 years ago. We were stressed and mishandled things. Kin sticks together." Caroline chimed in. "I took your help for granted. I'm so grateful for what you did." I asked. "Then why reach out now after 2 years?" Silence. Mom tried. "We needed time to heal." "Heal from what?" I said. "Me choosing my business's survival."